This video is a quick introduction to the RTI OpenShift cartridge. When you use RTI in an OpenShift environment, there are two components. There's the RTI cartridge, which you install in an OpenShift gear to monitor the performance of your JBoss or Tomcat application. And then there's the RTI console, which you connect to the RTI cartridge in your gear to download performance information collected by RTI. I've created a demonstration application on OpenShift.com using JBoss AS7 cartridge, and I've added the downloadable RTI cartridge to my application and restarted the application to activate the cartridge. Now I'm ready to connect the console. Now that I've connected the console to the RTI cartridge, I can begin doing performance analysis. One of the first things I'll probably do is start with a profile. I'm currently pushing a load through the application and want to see how my application is performing under load. I can take a look at the profile here. The kitchen sink application is pretty simple and doesn't have a whole lot of requests coming into it. It has some REST services, the title page here, the Java Service Faces page. But I could take a look at these and I could drill down into them and examine where I'm spending my time here in those individual requests as I move through. If I come across a request that looks interesting to me because the performance is slow or for some reason, I can initiate one of our deep dive traces to trace just that transaction, or I can trace all the transactions, and I can set some parameters of how long I want to trace. I might trace for 5 minutes in this case, and I can begin a trace. The deep dive trace allows me to trace individual requests as they move through my system and allow me to drill down and find out where they're spending their time. Okay, the trace is now started, and normally I would just wait for my trace to finish after about 5 minutes. I can pick up the data for the last 5 minutes, for example, from the same collector and load that into the RTI deep dive trace information has been downloaded into the console, and we can take a look at what we have here. In the top we have a table summarizing the requests as they've come into the system. Again, we were just tracing index.jsf. We have a chart here on the bottom which shows the overall response times for those requests. This is an overview timeline that shows when the requests are arriving and how long they take, sort of related to each other. There are other summary tables here which show information about the various events that have been tracked. We're also keeping track of the garbage collection and Java heap size information and a bunch of other metrics that you can load from here. We can examine some of these requests in more detail by expanding the nodes here. This one is fairly simple, and you can see we run through the server faces to the servlet and then hibernate queries. If we take a look at this request here is a little more complex, and you can see there's again the JSF, the servlet, then an EJB call and hibernate calls, and here's the SQL used to implement those calls and more information. Again, this is a simple application. Your application will generally have more details. That was a quick look at using RTI in the OpenShift environment with the RTI cartridge. For more information and more videos, visit our website at www.rtiperformance.com. Check out the documentation, including quick starts for OpenShift, and address questions to RTI support.